Hello, everyone. So let's talk about crystals, charging, and diet. So what I'm showing right here, that is me charging one of my new Tiger's Eye stones. So I tend to usually connect with very grounding, courage-based, and motivation-based stones and crystals. So the Tiger's Eye, it deals with motivation, confidence, clear-headedness, also, i.e., grounding. So, usually when I say grounding, I mean that you are well founded in yourself as a person as you're going throughout your day. You are drawing upon the energy source that is the earth, but also your connection to your ancestors and just your natural base from which you expand energetically. So, the Tiger's Eye, that's one that I've gotten recently that I haven't really carried a whole bunch until now, and it does have a little bit different effect than a black agate. So a black agate or a gate, however you want to say it, that's even more just based on grounding. And obsidian is something I'm also very much drawn to. So kind of primal strength and a feeling that you are grounded within yourself as a person. Carrying these stones or crystals can help you a bunch along those lines. So when you're thinking about something that perhaps is different, like communication with the divine or communication with your higher self, you might choose something like opalite. Or you might choose, and then if you were focusing on prosperity and money, you might carry green aventurine. There's a lot of different stones that you can use for various purposes. I'm very much drawn to the primal strength aspect, which is also the Uruz aspect. Uruz is the Elder Futhark rune of primordial strength and kind of initiation and the foundation in your strength, root chakra. So the Tiger's Eye, obsidian, and even Uruz, the rune, very much deal with the root chakra, being well founded in that, embracing its positive side. Its positive side is positive strength. Its negative side is kind of gluttony or might is right, domination. So you want to go towards the more positive strength side of your root chakra, and in my opinion, and there's a lot of grounding stones that can help you do that. The Tiger's Eye is something, it's a little bit different feeling than what I'm used to carrying because like I said, I haven't carried it a lot in the past. But it feels a little bit more towards, a little bit more connected to the heart as far as like proper courage as well. That's what it feels like to me. So, in charging, when you're charging your crystals, there's cleansing and there's charging. So when you're charging, I love to use selenite and candles. Tea light candles, 7-day candles, votives, but I usually use tea light candles for charging my crystals and stones. So I might, like I did with the Tiger's Eye one that you just saw, I put a little bit of Crown of Success oil from Art of the Root. You can buy their oil on Amazon. Onto each of these 4 tea light candles, and I lit them, and that gives a little bit extra oomph, a little bit extra energy, a little bit extra potency to charging. So selenite is always, quartz and selenite are always what I use for the transference of energy from a candle, the light energy, and just the magical energy from the candles into the stone. That's a way to charge it, to allow it to reach a point of its best benefit for you, and to be more of a talisman than just a latent kind of thing that you carry around, giving it its best potential to work for you. That's why I charge crystals and stones, using crystals and stones sometimes, as with selenite, that's connected, that I put between the candle and the Tiger's Eye, for instance, and other stones as well, black agate. I'm very much drawn to obsidian as well, like I said. There's other ways to charge. You can charge by putting them into a quartz crystal bowl, tapping it and running the hammer around the edge of the bowl, giving it whatever crystal bowl that you have that you're using. It's usually they're aligned to different chakras, or very basic ones, or just very basic ones. But the one that I have is aligned with the heart chakra, And if you put like a stone right in the center, tap it, and then run the hammer around, then it will kind of like it imbues it with that particular phonetic energy, I suppose, the vibration rather. So there's a number of other ways to charge crystals. There's a number of ways to cleanse crystals and stones as well. You can place them into a bowl, wooden or stone, not selenite because it will dissolve if you put liquid in it. And you could put some fresh water, some purified water in that bowl, and just put your crystals or your stones into it and let it sit for a while. You can let it sit for a day. Sometimes, it can just be an hour or two. That can also cleanse the energy. Water naturally draws out anything negative and it kind of like draws out. It cleanses everything, and not just physically, but also energetic. It draws out every kind of pollutant that's there into the water from where the pollutant came from. This is true with energy, and of course, washing anything. You can also place crystals and stones upon your shrine, and if you have a lot of good energy that you like along your shrine, or altar, and you regularly work with that altar, sometimes just the natural latent energy there can cleanse and sometimes charge a little bit these stones and crystals. So let's go to diet. So if you're going to work with a very grounding stone or crystal, then you might that day, if you want it to, perform its grounding purpose, you might want to eat something that is thick with energy and takes a little bit to digest, but it's thick with sustenance. Something like beans, something like some starches, potatoes. A lot of the time you can tell how grounding something is by the density of it, or how close to the ground that is when it blossoms, when it flowers, or when it produces fruit or vegetables. Density is very important though. So like something like refried beans, or nuts, you might want to eat that if you want to be grounded during the day, along with carrying something like a black agate or a tiger's eye, or obsidian. You might want to eat something like that. You should always pair it with something leafy. You always want the best transference and processing of energy always happens with whatever food that you eat when you have some leafy greens paired with it. Butterhead lettuce, not iceberg. Iceberg's vast majority is water. Butterhead lettuce, collard greens, spinach, kale. These things are very leafy. They aid the transference and the processing of energy from our food when we eat the food. Very important to eat. If you're going to look for a more energetic kind of feel, and you feel like being lifted up, and you kind of feel grounded enough, then you might eat some fruits, citrus, apples, strawberries, berries, things like that. That kind of uplifts your body. By the way, all these things should be an intrinsic part of your diet, but you can pair various foods with stones and what you're trying to cultivate within yourself energetically for that day, for that meal. So if you're going to work with more kind of airy, if you want to connect with the element of air, you want to kind of expand your consciousness, and you feel grounded enough to where you can do that. Once again, I keep on bringing up grounding because grounding is the basis of what you try to do everything with. So if you want to connect with the air element, and you want to kind of expand your consciousness just a little bit, as long as you can like continually keep hold of it and not let it just go off and wander. Sprouts are very good. A lot of the lighter leafy things, and some of the I would say blueberries specifically, not necessarily strawberries, raspberry, blueberries specifically. More connect with the air element, as well as kind of allow your consciousness in a very small way to kind of expand a little bit, antioxidants, things like that. there's a lot of, and then if we're talking about grains are very airy as well, but they kind of combine with grounding and the root chakra, the earth itself as well. If you're looking for kind of heart chakra, which is, a lot of people think that strength is connected with like the root chakra. That's kind of it, but I also usually think of it as connected with the heart chakra, the energy in your solar plexus around that area. Then you know a lot of grains. The grains are kind of, they're kind of hard to process than other foods, but at the same time they're not like as easily processed as something like some very thin leafy stuff or some blueberries, something like that. So that kind of centers you. Grains kind of center you. If you're looking to connect to your heart chakra, eat some very grainy, maybe some rye bread, something with seeds attached to it, very dark bread. Much better for you than the white bread that we usually eat in the United States or in Europe. A lot of the time, the white bread is just basically working out all the grains, all the nutrients. It's fluffier, but it's also not as good for you. So when it comes to diets, always understand that meat really does, it does nothing for your energy that's positive, because when you eat meat, if you're gonna eat meat, if you have to eat meat, eat fish, because it's furthest away from the complexity that is the human biology. Things that are closer to and things that can feel more emotion, like cows and pigs, things that can suffer. Your body, in trying to make it into yourself, when you're using it as fuel, it has to deprogram all those emotions and it has to think about how to make it a part of you, your stomach. So when in the deprogramming process, it operates on an energetic level. So your energy is trying to process all these emotions and all these things that the animal felt when it was, being raised and died. And it's harder for your energy to do that. Also, inevitably, that suffering is incorporated into your own energy, and transfers to your own energy at least a bit. So it does have a negative effect. And when it comes to other crystals and stones, there's a lot of ones that you connect to fire, water. A lot of red stones like red jasper, they do feel grounding, but at the same time they feel energetic and passionate at the same time, if you know how to kind of sense these stones for yourself. But charging all of these things, they can all be charged through candles and selenite. They can also be charged through holy water or fresh water. They can also be cleansed that way. There's a number of ways to use this dynamic in your magical and spiritual life to affect change that is very real and takes time and takes practice, but it's very real for you and can benefit you in a number of ways. At any rate, I hope this has been interesting. This has been a video about kind of stones and crystals, charging, and diet. These might seem very strange things to combine, but everything that is incorporated with us and everything that we use magically and spiritually, there's a symbiosis that in a balance that we can try to achieve for ourselves and affect greater change based on our experiments and our experiences. Thank you very much. Hit that thumbs up down there if you like this video at all, and all of you, have a wonderful day.